In Universe 7, the mighty god Beerus was very thoughtful, just like he was too bored. Hey Whis, there's something interesting to do. I'm sick of all this boredom. I want to fight something or do something interesting. My lord, unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done. Although, if you wish, I can train you so that you're able to overcome more and more of your limits. Oh damn, I'm already the most powerful god in all the universes. It's no use to make me much stronger if no one's able to stand up to me. While both were talking, a powerful explosion throughout Universe 7 would make the planet of Beerus rumble. So powerful that the explosion that on this occasion even caused the powerful planet of the god Beerus to be destroyed in some parts, which even left him surprised. Hey Whis, take me immediately to where that powerful explosion originated. The level of destruction must be of amazing scales to be able to cause even my planet to be destroyed in some parts. Both deities, at a great speed, had headed towards where the explosion had occurred. So when they arrived, they were surprised to notice how an extremely muscular being, just like his Saiyan tail, moved all over the place. That's right, the warrior belonged to one of the most powerful races. However, he'd been able to take his power to a level beyond an ordinary Saiyan. Beerus, when he arrived at the place, he was surprised to notice the powerful warrior between the explosion. Who are you? You don't possess the divine energy, but your mortal energy is incredible. So much so do you have to be able to cause all this mess. I am the most powerful Saiyan of this whole place, and if you're able to stand in front of me, you must be able to possess incredible power. So I hope you're prepared. Beerus, without being able to observe anything, had been sent to fly at an incredible speed. So much so that he had the power that Beerus was impacting with the planet, had completely destroyed it. So Beerus would immediately recover, increasing a large part of his power, with which he would begin to walk towards Yamoshi. I'm the god of destruction, and I'm not just any god, the most powerful god among the 12 gods. It seems amazing to me that you, a mere mortal, has been able to beat me. Beerus would throw a powerful blow against Yamoshi, but to the surprise of both deities, Yamoshi was able to stop Beerus' blow with only one of his hands without the slightest effort. I've never heard of the existence of gods, but if that's what you said's real, I want to fight with all the gods. But if they're like you, they're too weak. Beerus, annoyed, would throw a big kick in Yamoshi's face, but to his surprise, Yamoshi at an amazing speed was able to move, taking him by the head, destroying planets and stars that were all over the place. That's right, Yamoshi had caused a great destruction with Beerus' body, so he would throw him towards another planet with a grate. Are you really a god of destruction? It doesn't seem to me that you're able to be an insect anymore, since not even an insect is as weak as you are. Beerus, with multiple wounds all over his body, would get to his feet, but large amounts of blood were spreading all over the place. Damn, my body's not able to withstand his punches. I can't believe the power his fist possesses. Yamoshi would begin to approach Beerus, which on this occasion, with all the pain of his body, would expel 100% of all his power. However, the cost to pay was incredible, because every one of his bones were destroyed. Beerus had thrown himself against Yamoshi, which began to exchange thousands of blows all over the place. That's right, Beerus, using 100% of all his power, hadn't been able to overcome it, only equalize it, which left him very surprised. This is amazing! I did not understand that the power of a Saiyan is able to reach such levels. He's even able to measure himself on equal footing with the most powerful god. The battle of both warriors would not last more than 1 hour, because on this occasion Beerus was suffering the effects of using 100% of all his power. So while exchanging blows, he would say, Damn, this happened to me because I'm not using 100% of all my power. For that reason, my body's not able to assimilate it completely, although I never had to use all my power. Beerus, being a little distracted, was surprised by a big blow to the stomach, and without being able to recover, Yamoshi, from a double blow, was able to send him to the ground, creating great chaos all over the place. So he had raised too much dust, but when all the fuss he had caused dissipated, it was possible to observe Beerus was in combat. Yamoshi, from the surface of the entire planet, would begin to carry a powerful sphere of energy in one of his hands. So, at the time of throwing it, he had planned to end the life of Beerus, but with a quick movement, he was able to deflect that powerful attack. I cannot allow you to end the life of my god of destruction, so in this case, I'll have to fight you. Whis threw himself against Yamoshi, but as surprising as it may seem, Yamoshi was able to dodge Whis' blow, so at the moment both exchanged glances. I'm able to realize that you have much greater power than a god, but it is not time to finish with you. I will return, and when I return, I will finish with everything existing. Yamoshi of his own body was able to cause a huge explosion all over the place, disappearing on the spot, which left Whis surprised. However, he would quickly take his god of destruction heading towards his planet, in which he would begin to heal each of his wounds, but he had not been able to wake up. Well, apparently the wounds that warrior had caused him are serious wounds, because even though he had healed him, he wasn't able to wake up. Whis, at the end of healing each of his wounds, he'd noticed with a little of Beerus' blood would come out of each one of his wounds. So with his staff, he was able to get those drops of blood to stay fresh. I have an idea. So that Mr. Beerus doesn't get bored and that he is also much more active, Mr. Beerus will be a father. This was how Whis would start looking for some survivor of the Saiyan race. However, he had not had any success, since apparently Yamoshi had finished with the entire Saiyan race, so thousands of years had passed. Yamoshi, had not given signs of life, so Whis, with his staff, would again start looking for survivors of the Saiyan race. Succeeding, however, these Saiyans were much weaker than the original race of the Supreme Saiyans. Apparently, the first Saiyans were more powerful and bloodthirsty. That's okay, because with the power of a god and the power of the Saiyan warrior race, I'm sure an extremely powerful warrior will be born. Whis, with his great speed, would go to the planet Vegeta, current planet of the Saiyan warriors. So, when he arrived, he would observe a beautiful woman who didn't possess warrior skills. However, a special blood ran through her entire body. Apparently, this warrior has a little bit of blood from the ancient Yamoshi. She, along with the blood of the Lord Beerus, will be born a very powerful warrior. Whis would quickly get closer, so without Gine noticing, he was able to inject Beerus' blood into the son Gine was carrying inside. That's all. Even if Mr. Beerus and Gine had not had contact in the slightest, the child that will be born from this crossing will be amazing. Whis would return to his planet. Since that event, a few months would pass, in which Kakarot, the son of Bardock, had been born, with practically zero power. However, that power was perceived by the angel Whis, because Kakarot didn't possess the power of mortals. Kakarot was able to be born with the power of a god of destruction. So he's finally been born. The power he was born with is amazing. I can't believe the power a simple child has been born with. Whis would continue to observe everything thanks to his staff. However, Whis would realize as the evil Emperor Frieza began to gather the entire army of the Saiyans with the intention of ending the entire warrior race. So Bardock had been able to send Kakarot to planet Earth, planet in which those were with no powerful warriors. Son, I hope that in the future you'll be able to take revenge on us. In the meantime, be happy and become a powerful warrior. I trust you, Kakarot. Bardock, with his great Saiyan determination, would begin to channel an incredible attack, with which he would try to face Frieza's super attack. However, it would be useless to him, since Frieza's powerful attack was able to finish off everything around him, including most of the Saiyan warriors. The character possessed by that warrior was incredible, but in that case, I don't think Kakarot will come to Earth. He will be trained by me personally. Whis, with his great speed, was able to intercept the little Saiyan ship, so he was able to observe him. Hehe, although you don't look anything like Mr. Beerus, since I try not to get your mother in trouble, Gine, the power of Beerus runs through every one of your veins, and I'm sure that in the not-too-distant future, you will be able to annihilate Frieza. Whis would quickly return to his planet with the little boy, so at the time of arrival, Whis would begin to teach him everything. That's right, Whis began to raise the child. While Beerus was still asleep after the great battle against the legendary Yamoshi, it had already been about 5 years since Kakarot's arrival. But the power that Kakarot possessed was not the power that a 5-year-old warrior should possess, since Kakarot, on this occasion, had already been able to access even the Super Saiyan God, and the mixing such a state with the destructive energy of a god of destruction, his power was increasing in surprising scales. Wow, I'm surprised by the power you possess, Kakarot. But now it's time to rest, because for your power to grow, rest is also very important.
As you say, Whis, I'll take a break. Then I'll be able to increase my power more. I already want to face Lord Beerus.
It's not time yet, Kakarot, believe it or not. Lord Beerus is considered the most powerful god of all the 12 universes.
For that very reason, I want to become much more powerful to be able to defeat him, and I know that I'll be able to achieve it.
Meanwhile, in a very distant planet, the god of destruction, the prince of the Saiyans, the mighty Vegeta, had also been able to carry out a powerful training, since he would not allow Frieza to have destroyed his planet. So the prince of the warriors, being a prodigy warrior, was able to access the Super Saiyan. With this warrior, I'm sure I'll make Frieza's useless one tremble. He won't be able to do anything against me. But I have to completely master this power since I can tell that the energy drain is incredible. Saiyan Prince would continue with his great training, which on this occasion was simply to be able to not waste so much energy in his Super Saiyan state. However, the power of Vegeta, despite being a prodigy, wasn't able to compare with the power of Kakarot, which had been able to be born with the power of a god of destruction. Returning to the planet of Beerus, one night Kakarot had gotten up to the bathroom in which, at the moment, he would observe all the stars around Kakarot. However, for the first time, observed the full moon. So a new latent power inside Kakarot had awakened, because instantly, Kakarot's power would begin to grow in an incredible way. While he completely lost his reason, just as his body began to grow, taking the form of Ozaru, beginning to destroy everything in his path, which this time would attract the attention of Beerus, the god of destruction, who would wake up very upset, since they had not let him sleep. I don't care who you are, I'll end your miserable life. You're on my planet, and I'm the god of destruction. Beerus, with the powerful scream, was able to push back that gigantic Ozaru, which was a few centimeters from Beerus. I don't know what happened to Whis. Apparently he's not on the planet. Maybe the High Priest has asked for his presence, but I'm able to take care of this useless. But Beerus was a little surprised to realize how that monkey will release a power very similar to his in his state of god of destruction. On the planet of the powerful god Beerus, great rumblings were felt all over the place, while the great Ozaru's fur turned a purple color, implying that he possessed the power of destruction all over his body. Beerus, without caring about the kinship he had with his power, had thrown himself against him, being able to give a few blows all over that body of the great beast. However, to Beerus' surprise, his fists were bleeding due to the incredible hardness of the Ozaru. What the hell's going on? How's it possible that this beast has such hard skin? Even my fists are shattered. Beerus, at the moment, with his great reaction speed, was able to dodge a great attack from the Ozaru. However, with his great tail, he was able to hit it, sending it to a very distant part of the planet, creating a great destruction all around. But with a great sound, the true power of Beerus would become present, with which a great aura would grow all over the planet. I must accept that you're a very powerful warrior, but you'll not be able to defeat me, since you're a damn beast. Beerus, as a great flash, would begin to deal in millions of blows, and as Ozaru had a large size, his speed was limited, so instantly Beerus would begin to take the advantage, although all the bones of his arms would be completely destroyed because the power of Kakarot was able to emanate the essence of destruction even in the air. With which he'd been able to do that, the powerful god Beerus was affected, since all the air he breathed were like thousands of blades destroying his interior. Damn, I don't know how this damn beast came from, but I have to be able to finish it off in the next attack, since its destructive energy is much more aggressive than mine. Beerus would rise to the top of the planet, so he would begin to charge thousands of attacks, with which he intended to end the life of that beast, since the power condensed in each sphere of energy would destroy a galaxy. So destroying a single being shouldn't be complicated. Miserable beast dies! Atomic Devastator! All the energy spheres would be thrown against Kakarot, which seemed to be his inevitable end. However, with a powerful roar, he was able to destroy each of the energy spheres, and likewise cause great damage to Beerus, who this time would fall to the ground with multiple injuries. Damn it! How is he able to destroy all my energy spheres? Apparently I'll have to use the power beyond a god once more. Beerus, with multiple bruises all over his body, as well as large amounts of blood were spreading all over his body, would stand up. So instantly, an incredible power would make the whole universe tremble. So much so that the power of the most powerful god on that occasion, Whis, was able to feel the essence of his god, both by having a special connection, since each god and angel had a unique connection
being able to feel when their god releases the power beyond what they can bear. No, apparently a new enemy has appeared. I doubt it's Emoshi, but I'll have to get back quickly.
What's going on, Whis? Your countenance is completely changed.
I'm sorry, Daishiken-sama, but I have to go back to Mr. Beerus.
I understand, Whis, but everything that happens is under control. You come back as we come up with a plan for the tournament between multiverse.
So it'll be, Father. With your permission, I retire. Whis at a great speed would begin to move throughout outer space. Returning to the planet of Beerus, the power and pressure that his body released was incredible. So much so that this time, even the powerful beast would begin to take a few steps back, since having no reason, he was only guided by his instincts, which on this occasion warned him that being in front of him, since the power of Beerus had changed completely, with which, on this occasion, the energy emanating from his body was capable of even disintegrating a god that was with 100-kilometer range.
I'm surprised you're still living, since the power of capable is being able to wipe out a god with my simple essence, and this power has only been able to withstand it. Damn you, Moshinyor.
Beerus had moved with such overwhelming speed, being able to connect a great blow in the stomach of that great beast, being able to cause an amazing damage. But the cost of that powerful blow had been to lose his entire right arm. However, Beerus, with an arm of destructive energy, was able to make him fall to the ground, so the moment he fell, he would create a disaster all over the planet. Beerus would immediately begin to approach that great beast.
I can tell that your desire to fight and destroy everything are over, so at this moment, I'll end your existence.
Beerus, at the moment, had been able to throw a large sphere of destructive energy, but being inches away from ending Kakarot's life, Whis was able to stop such an attack, prostrating himself in front of that beast, preventing its death.
But Whis, what are you doing? This beast invaded our planet.
Whis would approach the Ozaru, and with the help of his staff, he was able to make Kakarot return to normal, which left Beerus very surprised.
Hey Whis, you want to explain to me what's happening? Because I don't understand.
Mr. Beerus, as surprising it may seem, the Saiyan is your son. For the reason, he possesses the energy of destruction, but I was able to combine the two most powerful genetics of the 12 universes.
Don't tell me that's what I'm thinking, Whis. Maybe you've combined my god genetics with the genetics of a Saiyan.
That's right, Mr. Beerus. I've combined your genetics with the warrior genetics of the Saiyans. For the same reason that Yamoshi warned that he would return, I know that this powerful warrior will be of great help to us.
I understand, but how do you explain that he's my son, since I don't remember having any relationship with a Saiyan woman?
Well, that's the easiest, because I'm able to implant her DNA into the fetus of that Saiyan possessed, so that Saiyan possesses her DNA.
I understand, Whis, I understand. In such a case, I want my son to be able to even surpass all the angels, since he has the potential to do so. He's been able to force me to use the power beyond a god.
That's right, and if at such a young age you are able to make him use the power beyond a god, imagine what his power will be like in a few years.
It's not waste time. Better to train him once and for all.
The night had passed quickly, so the next day Kakarot would wake up with his whole body aching.
My body hurts too much. I feel like a planet's fallen on me.
Well, it's like a universe has fallen on you, Kakarot, since the blows of Mr. Beerus are not weak at all. But all this would only happen through the mind of Whis. So at the moment, Whis, with the help of the staff, was able to heal all the wounds of Kakarot, with which he had been able to obtain a powerful Zenkai, with which instantly his whole body had evolved, needing a much greater state, because his current state was not supported by the power he had obtained. So Kakarot would begin to release all his beastly power, being able to access the Super Saiyan Blue at such a young age. Wow. It's amazing the power Kakarot's been able to acquire, but it will be better to start training his new power, so that you possess a wear and tear of energy.
That's right, Whis. Let's start with the new training.
While Beerus was lying down in a distant part of the planet watching the progress of his little son, meanwhile returning to the Prince of the Saiyans, the powerful Vegeta was also able to control the Super Saiyan completely, not having any wear of energy with which he felt ready to end the life of Frieza.
It's time. I'll have to end that wretch, since the only ruler of the universe must be me.
Vegeta would take his ship, leaving the planet where Frieza was, which at the time of arriving at the Frieza Army headquarters, he would be informed as the evil Emperor had gone to another planet, in which, according to rumors, it was said that the inhabitants of the planet were capable of fulfilling wishes. Then the evil Emperor Frieza, upon learning such information, would seek to possess immortality, so that nothing and no one would be able to take away the reign that he had been able to achieve.
No, damn it! I can't allow that wretch to become immortal, because if he does, I'll be a slave for his whole existence.
Vegeta would also go to the coordinates of that planet, so not being so far away, he was able to arrive in a few hours, realizing as the evil Emperor, he had been able to collect 6 mysterious spheres, but by the trackers they had, Vegeta was able to inform him that to be able to fulfill the wish, they needed 7.
I arrived on time. If I'm able to hold the last sphere, no matter what I do, I'm not going to give it to you.
Vegeta would quickly start in search of the last Dragon Ball, so that he would end the lives of hundreds of villagers on that planet, completely failing. But Prince Vegeta, at the moment of being able to leave, he was able to observe how the whole sky would turn a dark color, which on that planet should not happen. While in the distance, he was able to observe how Frieza had held a small villager to fulfill his wish. Vegeta, at a great speed, was able to move all over the place, being able to grant him a blow to Frieza, asking in the same way for immortality. However, his wish would not be fulfilled. When he needed the original language, Vegeta would also hold the villager, but the incredible dragon instantly would spread all over the planet. That's right, the patriarch who created the Dragon Balls had died, which left the spheres as simple rocks, which on this occasion the evil Emperor would be filled with anger, accessing his last form, causing the planet to shake due to all the power that Frieza was releasing. However, all over the planet, an incredible power was also beginning to be felt. That's right, the Prince of the Saiyans was accessing the Super Saiyan, which would leave Frieza surprised.
I hope you're prepared, since the warrior you feared so much has appeared, and it's me.
I can't believe that you're the legendary Super Saiyan, but no matter, you won't be able to do anything against me.
The battle of both warriors would begin. Their battle at this moment would begin to destroy the planet completely. However, on the planet of Beerus, Kakarot would be able to feel a little ki similar to his, as well as an extremely evil power.
Hey Whis, whose are those powers?
Whis, with his staff, he was able to realize that it was the Prince of the Saiyans, the evil Emperor of Frieza, informing Kakarot.
Heh, that'll be fun. I'd like to go to that place and meet another survivor of my race. And by the way, finish with that damn demon that finished with my planet.
Do you want me to take you to the place where they met?
No, Whis, don't worry. I'm able to get there on my own. Right now, I plan to finish those damn worms.
Kakarot, with great speed, was starting to move all over Universe 7, so would arrive in the matter of a few minutes. Meanwhile, Beerus would start talking to Whis.
Hey Whis, I think it's time for the Saiyan to be able to meet other deities.
How old does he currently possess?
I think he's currently 17 years old, my lord, and the power he's able to channel is amazing.
I think that's the age he is and the power he possesses. It's time for him to start getting to know other deities. My son will be able to rise to the top of all gods, I'm sure.
And of course that I'm sure. The power he possesses at only 17 years old is amazing, since even the gods trained for millions of years to be able to possess a similar power. Returning to the planet, Kakarot had been able to arrive, beginning to observe the battle that both warriors were carrying. Kakarot would observe the battle between both warriors. However, as the battle went on, hundreds of inhabitants were annihilated by such an aggressive battle. Although from Kakarot's point of view, the power of that battle was not of importance, since compared to his great power, it was absolutely nothing.
This battle has no reason to drag on, because that bastard who calls himself Emperor must be eliminated, and there must be no more dead on this planet.
So instantly Kakarot was able to get in the middle of both warriors, being able to stop their next attack, which left both warriors surprised.
What if you are the Saiyan who revealed himself to the end?
Are you a Saiyan? How's it possible that you're able to stop the fist of the mighty Prince of the Saiyans?
I'm not interested in the questions you have. The battle's over for today. Because of your battle, several innocent people are dying. Ha ha ha! That's who's interested. So if you don't want to die, you better
Frieza wasn't able to finish his sentence since Kakarot, with a quick movement that even Vegeta wasn't able to see, had been able to pass through Frieza with a single blow, which Frieza would fall to the ground on the verge of death, expelling large amounts of blood.
What? Are you able to defeat Frieza with such enormous ease? This must be a joke, since I'm the most powerful Saiyan in this whole universe.
How wrong you are! Since your power beside my power is absolutely nothing. You'd better leave and remove all the evil from your heart if you really want to become more powerful.
Vegeta, furious at that humiliation, since he was indirectly rubbing him in the face that was much more powerful, had launched himself against Kakarot. But to his surprise, Kakarot, with only one of his fingers, was able to stop his blow. And with a small sphere of compressed air, he was able to leave it was combat. So he would start walking towards Frieza's body, which was still alive.
Please spare my life. I promise I'll leave, and I'll never come back. I don't know who you are, but it won't happen again. I promise. Of course I'll leave you alive. No problem, since you'll only live with trauma that a much more powerful warrior than you appeared. And the worst of all is that it was a simple Saiyan.
Kakarot, with a great blow, was able to send him flying off the planet because the power with which he had hit him was amazing. Kakarot would start quickly to return to his planet, in which, the instant he arrived, he would observe Beerus.
I don't know if I have to call you father or Mr. Beerus, but that doesn't matter. I'm surprised you're awake.
It's time for you to meet many more deities. But first, I want to measure myself with you. Using all your power, I want to check that you've improved so much in these years.
So our battle against the god of destruction of this universe, this'll be very interesting. Of course, yes. Don't worry, I'll use all my power.
Kakarot, with a big smile that showed confidence, would begin to access the Super Saiyan Blue, with which the essence of Beerus' power had intensified. That's right, even though on this occasion Kakarot had not used the power of destruction, by all the power of Kakarot, the essence of the god Beerus could be perceived. So with a great flash of energy, Kakarot had completed his great transformation, which had both surprised the deities, since the power that was emanated surpassed all the gods, including Beerus in his resting state.
I can't believe the power that's been able to get. He's definitely my son. He'd be a very powerful warrior.
Beerus, in the same way, would expel his power, accessing the state beyond a god, with which, while accessing said state, hundreds of catastrophes were generated all over the planet of the god Beerus. Whis quickly would help with his staff. He was able to prevent the powers of both from being perceived outside the Universe 7, so as not to attract the attention of the other gods like the beings of the Kingdom of the Whole. Beerus, of a great explosion of destruction, was able to access his combat state.
It's time to show you who's boss, so I hope you're prepared for the defeat of your father.
I feel confident enough to manage to beat you, so don't get as confident, as I'll use all my power.
Both warriors, as if there were a few flashes, began to exchange thousands of blows all over the place. However, despite the fact that the planet of Beerus was gigantic, it was not enough for the battle of both warriors, which began to take beyond the planet of Beerus, since it would begin to spread over different inhospitable planets. Like the same Universe 7, Kakarot was able to observe an opening in the defense of Beerus. So with a powerful blow, he was able to send it to a planet, destroying it due to the great impact.
I warned you that if you didn't underestimate me, as I'm able to read your every move.
Beerus, as long as he could stand and smoke was coming out of his body, he would give a small smile.
And you likewise don't underestimate me. I have millions of years of battlefield experience.
From Kakarot's back, a giant destructive energy had formed, so instantly a fist was able to send him flying, being able to cause great damage to his entire body and internal energy.
Did you think that opening was a mistake? I left that opening myself in order to be able to grant you this great attack. You have to learn all these lessons.
This hurts too much. The stroke that has been able to connect with me was a technique that was amazing. My body hurts too.
Kakarot would stand up but again fall to the ground, while much more sangre was expelled from his body.
Hell, the damage he has caused me is serious, but I know that I'm able to continue with this great battle. I'll not be defeated with a single attack.
Kakarot would accelerate his blood rhythm, with which he would begin to heal every wound of his entire body, but the power condensed in each wound was considerable, since being destructive energy, the power that required to heal the wound was very demanding. Kakarot would stand up with little difficulty. I don't really have to trust myself, but since you have told me to trust you're right, your experience surpasses me by 1,000 times. But what matters is true power. Kakarot had moved at a great speed, with which he would begin to exchange thousands of blows against Beerus. However, on this occasion, although Kakarot's speed had increased in an amazing way, he wasn't able to connect any blows to him. Since Kakarot, being cloudy, with being able to hit him, Beerus was able to dodge each of his blows. So Beerus, with a powerful kick, was able to send him to the lower part of the planet. He possesses incredible power, but he's still too young, as he's not able to control his emotions. For that reason, his movements are too clumsy. Kakarot, as if it were a lightning bolt, had been launched against Beerus again, but Beerus with great elegance was able to dodge each of his attacks, so with a destructive energy scythe, he was able to make Kakarot fall to the ground out of combat while his power had completely collapsed. Hey Whis, have you observed the whole battle? What do you think about it? The movements of the Saiyan? To be honest, the power he is able to release is amazing, but not having full control of his emotions, his attacks and defense are pathetic. It's as simple as I thought. So, the next workout, instead of being physical, will have to be a mental workout. It's the same as I've thought, and maybe with the next training I'll be able to reach the Ultra Instinct, since it requires a level of total control. Yeah, don't doubt my son, but I think it's too early. He's not even capable of mastering his emotions yet, much less the Ultra Instinct. Don't trust yourself, Mr. Beerus. Don't forget that you are a cross between a god and the most powerful warrior race that has ever existed. Meanwhile, in the outer space, the ship of Frieza's father, the powerful King Cold, was able to find his beloved son dying, so he had asked to give proper care so he'd be able to recover. Who is the necessary power to leave my powerful son in these conditions? This must be impossible. The powerful Frieza would be taken to a recovered machine, in which the cells would regenerate again. For his part, on the planet, the Prince of the Saiyans, upon awakening, would take his ship and leave in the same way, being with multiple injuries. My body hurts. And the worst thing of all is that it's not because of that damn Frieza. It's because of the only blow I received from that Saiyan. What is his name like? He has unreal strength. Vegeta would become unconscious while heading to an inhospitable planet on which he wished to continue his great training. Returning to the planet of Beerus after a few hours, Kakarot had been able to wake up with a strong discomfort throughout his body. This hurts too much. The power of Lord Beerus is amazing. I can't believe it. Well, apparently you've woken up. How did it feel fighting Mr. Beerus? It's been amazing. I want to be as powerful as he is, and I know that to become this powerful, I have to train much more, so I will. Meanwhile, in a very distant place of the 12 universes, the powerful Yamoshi was beginning to move slightly. That's right, the battle against the god Beerus had not caused him that damage, but he needed to incubate to be able to evolve to a new level of power.
Apparently, in a few months or years, I'll be able to fully awaken. I already want to destroy everything existing.
For his part, Whis, realizing, as his god of destruction on this occasion even gave his life for Kakarot, he would leave again for the kingdom of the All, to finish the talk he had left pending with the great priest. After a few minutes of travel, he was able to reach the kingdom of the All, being received by his father Daishinkan.
You've taken longer than expected, but I hope the whole thing is sorted out, Whis.
Sorry for the delay, father, but that's right. The whole matter has been resolved without having any problems. Daishinkan along with Whis began to talk for a few moments, in which apparently the kings of each of the multiverses wished that the multiverse of Zeno-sama participate in this tournament, since 50 trillion years ago that the multiverse of Zeno-sama does not appear in this great multiverse tournament. Excuse the question, father, but why haven't we participated in these last 50 trillion years? Even we are not that old.
You are correct, Whis. Even we're not that old, but we have not had the opportunity to have a powerful warrior represent us, since even I, the most powerful angel of this multiverse, am nothing to compare to these warriors.
I understand, father. In that case, first we must all find an extremely powerful warrior to represent us, and we will think about the strategy later. Since it doesn't matter the strategy, if we don't have warriors, it's useless.
I agree with you, Whis. Let's hope that in the next 2,000 years we'll find some warrior, since the tournament will take place in 4 million years.
I understand, Father. We'll do our best to find the right warrior. While Whis was returning to the planet of the god Beerus, he would say to himself, I'm sure that the warrior that would be able to represent us will be Kakarot, since at such a young age he's able to possess all that great power. In a few thousand years, he will surpass even the king of the whole. But Whis was surprised because the instant he had arrived, he was able to observe how Beerus was on the verge of death, while a mysterious warrior stepped on Beerus' head. However, an incredible power was felt all over the planet. That's right, Kakarot had access to the state of Ozaru, combining it with the destructive energy of his father. But unlike before, the power that emanated on this occasion was surprising. While likewise, on this occasion, he had not completely lost consciousness.
I'll annihilate you! I'll annihilate you! I won't forgive you for leaving my father in such conditions!
Kakarot, despite being transformed into Ozaru, would begin to access a new transformation, which this time was capable of shaking the 12 universes. Kakarot would begin to access a new transformation, which was able to make the entire Divine Queen tremble, because the power he was able to emanate in that form was incredible. And much more surprising for his age, Beerus, who was lying on the ground on the verge of death, would return to observe his son.
No, Kakarot, I'm begging you, don't do it! You're not able to do anything against that fucker. His power is amazing.
The powerful warrior would create a great flame of fire which had grown up to the atmosphere of the planet of Beerus, in which a silver-haired warrior could be observed. At first glance, he looked like a simple human being, but to the surprise of everything, he really is a powerful god of the underworld, which possessed one of the most powerful eyes of all that multiverse. That's right, his eye was able to slow down any warrior, as well as able to observe the invisible energy attacks.
I'm surprised by the power you possess. It's amazing. But let me tell you that to face me, it'll not be enough for you, since even your size will not allow you to attack me with great speed. Well, I'll be able to attack you at my maximum splendor.
The mighty warrior had rushed against Kakarot, however, instantly, Whis would likewise rush towards Kakarot, intending to save his life, because in that warrior's palm, a chaotic power was forming. Damn it, I won't make it on time! The warrior would throw his powerful attack against Kakarot. However, to the surprise of everything, Kakarot's simple aura was able to disintegrate such a powerful attack. While his body began to shrink, and his power did not seem to have any limit, on this occasion even Kakarot's power would be perceived up to the kingdom of the whole, in which Daishinkan was surprised, since in thousands of years he hadn't felt such a pure power. Although he was not able to compare with his power, Daishinkan was able to feel the essence that emanated that great power.
That power is capable of being compared to the guardian angels, but its essence seems to be that of a simple teenager. It must be impossible, since to possess a power like that, millions of years should have elapsed.
Returning to the planet of Beerus, Kakarot at the moment would generate a powerful explosion all over the place. So much that it seemed that its explosion had been able to reach Beerus. However, as the smoke generated by that explosion dissipated, a Kakarot could be observed holding Beerus in his arms while approaching towards. Whis! Please take care of my father and heal all his wounds. Kakarot's appearance had completely changed because the power of a god of destruction was running through his body. His power was evident, since on this occasion Kakarot's entire body had been filled with a purple-colored fur, similar to the color of destruction, while his simple aura was capable of eliminating beings that direct their energy towards Kakarot. It's time to start with the combat, but rather it's time to send you to the other world. You've left me amazed by all the power that you've been able to acquire. But in order for you to be able to face me, you must possess a power that surpasses the angels. For that simple mortal like you, it's impossible. Why don't you check it out for yourself? If you're so wrong it's impossible for me, you should be prepared to take the beating of your life, or am I wrong? Yuta, which was the name of the warrior, had rushed against Kakarot, but Kakarot, with an incredible agility, was able to dodge the blow with an overwhelming power, was able to connect a single blow in the stomach of Yuta. But the blow, despite looking normal, contained an incredible power, so much that when it collided with the planet, it had completely destroyed it in its entirety. What? How was he able to hit with such great accuracy? Even the power with which I exercise the stroke is of another level. I can't believe it. What's wrong? Have you not been able to observe that blow?
I promise that in the next attack I'll slow it down so that you're able to observe my movements.
Furious, Yuta would raise his power, creating disasters for all the planets of Universe 7, and Furious would begin to attack Kakarot. Yuta's blows, despite possessing the power to be able to destroy galaxies and planets by connecting his fist with Goku's skin, didn't seem to have any effect. But this was because, in that state, his body carried the resistance of the Ozaru. That's right, for the reason his resistance was thousands of times greater, without losing speed due to the size he possessed, while Kakarot, of the few blows he was able to deal her, he had been able to cause him a great damage. Returning to the Daishinkan Kingdom of at all, he was contemplating the Great Battle, which left him surprised because when witnessing it in detail, the combat style that Kakarot possessed seemed to be that of an experienced warrior.
I can't believe that warrior possesses such a style of battle, and I'm sure that by his essence he must not exceed 200 years. He must be considered a genius, but what does one of the gods of the underworld do in these universes?
Daishinkan, with his great power, would be able to reach the planet of Beerus in a few seconds by prostrating himself to the side of Whis.
Father, are you even interested in the battle?
That's right, Whis. I wish I was able to talk to that warrior to grant him a training. Can't believe the power he possesses. I'm sure he doesn't exceed 200 years of training.
You're completely mistaken, Father, since Goku does not possess such an age.
Apparently you know him, but my ability to sense the essence of beings hasn't changed, so he can't get over that age.
You are correct, Father. He does not exceed 200 years, but the total age of that warrior is only 18 years. He does not even reach a century of training.
Daishinkan was extremely amazed because, though his mind passed the thousands of probabilities that they could perform in the multiverse tournament if that warrior really possessed only that age.
Father, are you alright? He's gone completely silent.
But at that moment, in front of both angels, Kakarot had appeared, holding the powerful underworld god Yuta by the neck, while he had created a barrier to clash in front of Beerus, who regained consciousness.
This is for you, Father. Is that enough, or do you want me to keep making him suffer?
No, Kakarot, you shouldn't be like that. Please, leave him alone. He's received enough already to end his life once and for all.
I understand, Father. Still have a lot to learn, but I will fulfill your request.
Kakarot would fly at a great speed, so instantly, from a few hits on each energy vein, it had left him on the ground. He wasn't able to move at will, as he was only able to crawl like a worm.
You look like a fucking insect. I thought that considered you the god of the underworld, your power would be much greater, but you turned out to be a worm.
Please, lose my life, I swear I'll leave. I'll never set foot in these universes again.
I prefer to end the problem at the root, so at that future I won't be regretting this mistake. So die.
Kakarot would throw an attack against Yuta, who, being totally without energy, would be completely pulverized. Not even the bones being left, since Kakarot's power had pulverized him completely. So instantly, Kakarot would begin to approach where all the warriors were. Daishinkan, when observing him completely with a flashing speed, would prostrate himself behind Kakarot, while thinking,
the power he possesses is incredible, but he still needs to experience to be able to read these types of movements.
Daishinkan, while granting his blow, was surprised when Kakarot appeared at Daishinkan's side, while his aura formed a beast which likewise released a suffocating pressure throughout the Universe 7. This is amazing! I, being the one of the most powerful angels, have not been able to observe clearly what happened. I don't know how Kakarot was able to dodge such a blow. Beerus was surprised, while he was equally proud of his son.
I'm sure Kakarot will be one of the most powerful warriors in this entire multiverse. He has to put up the whole Universe 7. I'm surprised that you'll be able to see my movement. Do you have eyes in your back? Or how were you able to see when my stroke was healing?
You are right about something. It was very complex that I was able to see your movement, but what you don't know is that I'm a Saiyan warrior. I come from a warrior race.
You want to make me understand that since you use the reason, but you're struggling, so that's why you possess so much power at such a young age.
You could say that, but I also possess destructive power thanks to my father, who's Beerus, and I have Okumo gold to overcome it, and by observing how I could even give my life for myself, I was able to awaken this new power.
Oh, so the mighty and arrogant god Beerus was willing to give his life for his dear son. Beerus would be a little embarrassed, but at the moment it seemed that everything was over. An extremely incredible power would become present in all the multiverses. Not only in the multiverse of Zeno-sama, it would become present in the 8 multiverses that existed.
Whose power is this? How's he even able to emanate all his essence through all the multiverses?
Daishenkin was the only one to feel how that essence emanated through all the multiverses to each supreme angel being connected. So each angel was able to communicate with each other by that great anomaly.
You, Zeno-sama multiverse, have not participated in a tournament for trillions of years. By sending one of my underworld gods, you have been able to end his life. I swear that I'll eliminate your multiverse completely, and every being that allied with you.
A powerful explosion was beginning to expand towards all the warriors present, which at the moment Kakarot would stand in front of that great explosion. Being only in essence, the warrior was not able to release his power completely. But despite being only in essence, the damage he had caused to Kakarot was incredible.
So that guy was able to end Yuta's life.
But it's a pity that he won't be able to fight again with all those wounds on his body.
No damn, the only one who'd be able to guarantee us the victory was Kakarot.
Kakarot, in terrible conditions, was able to head towards the essence that was about to disappear from that multiverse. I promise that I'll locate you and end your pathetic life. You're nothing compared to me. I'll return this damage multiplied by 1,000,000 times more. The essence of that existence had ended, so when returning to the top of the 8 multiverses, a subject could be observed which seemed to be a prince, since his appearance was completely beautiful. However, the power he was able to feel for his palace was something that would extremely scare any warrior.
This'll be a lot of fun.
So a warrior able to withstand an explosion of one of my essences. I want to check if you're able to recover from until the multiverse tournament is over. Meanwhile, for their part, all the other multiverses began to dialogue with each other about the mysterious warrior who had appeared in the Zeno-sama multiverse. Since having not participated for trillions of years, they were not able to assimilate the levels of their warrior. One of the queens of the whole would exclaim, "I can't believe that Zeno-sama's multiverse possesses a warrior as powerful as that guy is. It'll be better to stay away, because if the god of death finds out that we ally with that multiverse, we'll all be eradicated." Me, being one of the most powerful queens of all, and mother of the supreme angels, I've been able to realize how that warrior is able to even help us to finally end the reign of that damn god of death.
We, despite being kings at all, are not able to do anything against that guy. Because his power is on another level. We're not able to do absolutely anything.
The kings were still debating whether to ally with the multiverse of Zeno-sama or to continue on their side. Returning to the planet of Beerus, Kakarot would fall to the ground, returning to its base state in terrible conditions, so it would be attended by the deities of that place.
I'll do everything possible so that your inner energy remains intact. You are the key to this great battle that is about to approach.
Daishenkin, with the help of Whis, began to transmit a little of their energy in the veins of Kakarot, but instantly the powerful queen of the all, Mikoshin, would appear on one side of them, releasing an amazing pressure. The powerful Mikoshin had arrived in the multiverse of Zeno-sama, specifically to the planet of Beerus, in which both angels were attending to Kakarot, but were surprised when they realized the pressure that the beautiful angel was releasing.
Mother, what happened? As far as I know, you're the queen of the all, of Otor Motorverse, so you have no jurisdiction in this multiverse.
I know, Daishenkin, but we really need the Saiyan to his maximum power, and as I, the mother of the Supreme Angels, am able to get this Saiyan to fully recover. With all due respect, I understand that you may have the best intentions with Kakarot, but what if you really want to annihilate him once and for all? I understand your distrust, but right now the only thing they can do is trust me, because otherwise they won't be able to do anything to help him, because the explosion he received is from the God of Death.
God of Death? Weren't they just legends that they were about their existence? That's right, even what I said were simple rumors about the existence of the God of Death. But if Mikoshin-sama says it, it must be for something true.
Meanwhile, in the castle of the God of Death, he was drinking an elixir of soul, so that his power continues to increase constantly.
These elixirs will always be the best. I don't know how the hell they make them, but there's something that every time motivates me to keep drinking more. Oh Lord, is there anything that is offered to you, or do you want me to retire? You can retire. I really appreciate it, but it's time for me to start training, since my muscles are a little rusty. Understand, my lord, as you order.
The subordinate of the powerful God of Death would withdraw, so Lucifer, which was the name of the God of Death, would stand up, While doing, he released all his power, with which on this occasion he distorted everything around him, but did not cause any damage to the outside, to a very powerful barrier created by himself, covered the whole place, where Lucifer would begin to raise his power.
This barrier is very effective, but I have to be able to do something else, because I want to be the best warrior on the battlefield. I'm sure my brothers don't want to stay behind.
Returning to the planet of Beerus, Mikoshin, with his great power of Queen of All, as well as his celestial power, would put one of his hands on Goku's chest, so the instant he would begin to transmit a small amount of celestial energy, which, with great difficulty, was able to eliminate a few residues of that explosion, but it wasn't enough to heal Kakarot completely.
Apparently even I won't be able to cure him completely.
I do not doubt the great power, but I am sure that Kakarot's able to recover himself and be at 100% of all his power.
I understand that they trust their most powerful warrior, but that's impossible, since the power he has been able to withstand is a power that no warrior should be able to achieve without taking a serious damage.
At that moment, the king of the whole, Zeno-sama, had also arrived on the battlefield, so he was surprised to notice the presence of Mikoshin.
This is amazing. I never thought to see you in my multiverse. I never thought to be in your universe, because they are only allowed low-power warriors. But this time it deserves it, because apparently without the help of this Saiyan, all of us will be puppets to that god of death and his stupid brothers. I understand, but what does the Saiyan have to do? The power that he possesses at such a young age is amazing. I can't believe the power he's able to support his whole body.
However, not even 5 hours had passed since the great explosion, but Kakarot's entire body would move by impulse, as well as expel an amazing power, while large amounts of blood were scattered all over the place where they were.
What the hell is happening to him? With the damage he received from part of that explosion, he should at least be out of action for a millennium.
Kakarot's power would continue to increase until at a certain point Kakarot created a small explosion, which was not dangerous for those present. However, from the whole sky, it would start raining blood, and instantly Kakarot would fall to the ground again out of combat, which had left everyone present baffled.
Mikoshin-sama, do you even know what happened?
In all my years of existence, I have never witnessed anything like this, and I have not the slightest idea what is happening to this Saiyan.
I'm not interested in what I have, but the only thing I wish for is my dear Kakarot to not affect in this conflict that's about to be approached.
It's a pity that Kakarot is the main one involved. He was the one who completely defied the god of death, and if he doesn't participate, I'm sure he will erase this multiverse without giving them the opportunity to defend themselves.
I can't believe that me, being his father, I'm not able to do anything. He's just a kid. Even though he possesses great power, he has hundreds of years to live.
Mr. Beerus, I'm sure an NDA's bad will happen. The power of Kakarot is amazing.
Mikoshin, while approaching again, this time she was surprised because in that blood that Kakarot had expelled, there were all the residues of the explosion. That's right, Kakarot had forced his body once again to eliminate all the damages of that explosion, which implied that his body would be able to recover 100%. Mikoshin, with his great power, would begin to feel all over Kakarot's body, realizing that every vein of energy were completely empty. However, he did not possess any residue from the power of the god of death.
I couldn't believe what Beerus had said, that you'd be able to heal on your own, but you have to be able to shut me up. Since you have succeeded, I trust you, Kakarot.
Mikoshin, before leaving for his multiverse, would likewise grant him a little of his celestial energy so that he'd be able to completely master it.
If that warrior was able to possess all that power with the simple power of the blood of Beerus, I can't imagine if he's able to master the celestial energy. I'm sure we would finish with the god of death.
Meanwhile, and all the other kings of the whole were debating about what happened, since among the 8 kings, there were only 6 left, since one of them was Zeno-sama and the other Mikoshin.
I don't know what to do, since I really don't know who the puppet of those guys are anymore. But if this plan fails, we'll all die no matter what we do.
But if there are risks, we must take them. I want to ally with Zeno-sama's multiverse, but there's still time, so we can analyze our possibilities well.
Archon is right on that point, because if we make a hasty decision, we could get into big trouble, so it will be better to wait. Mayuki's right. In such a case, we'll meet in 2 centuries to discuss all this.
All the kings at all would leave for their respective multiverses and palaces, Returning to the planet of Beerus, 6 months had already passed in which Kakarot was still unconscious, but his vital energy was stable. Meanwhile, throughout the universe, the Emperor of Evil, Frieza, along with his father in this time that had elapsed, they would be able to adopt new powers. So they were confident of defeating the Saiyan, which was able to sweep the floor with the Emperor of Evil, Frieza.
That monkey, I already want to find you and end your pathetic life. Not before returning the humiliation I received on that planet.
But Frieza, how do we start with the God of Destruction?
Are you sure, Father? It is said that Beerus, the God of Destruction, has no limits on his powers, and if we're really not able to face him, I'm sure he'll be able to end our lives.
No, Frieza, we are always considered one prodigy warriors. It's time to take ownership of this whole universe.
This was how father and son had left for the planet of Beerus. However, although both warriors had achieved amazing powers, it wasn't enough because on this occasion, the power of Beerus had also increased in an incredible way. So to spend a few days in which the family of evil had arrived to the territory of the God of Destruction, Beerus, together with Whis, stood in front of both.
I don't know how I've been able to get to my planet, but I'll give them a chance to leave, since I'm in a really lousy mood.
No, Beerus, we have to always be like your shadow. Being your simple pawns, your slaves, that will end today, as we will end your pathetic life.
However, before King Cold is able to make a move, Beerus had held him by the head, dragging him all over the planet so he'd be able to create a great destruction all over the place.
I don't have time to waste it with you. Destruction!
The power of destruction would become present, so at the moment, King Cold's entire body had been completely pulverized. Frieza would begin to panic completely. However, despite the terror he felt when he was in front of Beerus, the Emperor of Evil, Frieza, would begin to access his last form. Frieza's power was amazing, with which he was even able to get hundreds of planets throughout Universe 7 to be destroyed by his excess energy.
You're much more powerful than your father, but even if you are stronger, that'll not be enough for you to be able to face me.
Both warriors began to exchange hundreds of blows all over the place. Meanwhile, Kakarot was still out of combat, but despite doing absolutely nothing, Kakarot, in his mind, would still start training.
I've been able to create this mental space, as otherwise I would have been able to do anything, and I have to train in all this time that I'll be out of combat.
This is how Kakarot, despite still being out of combat in his mind, he was still following a rigorous training, with which he had planned to overcome even the power of the King of the Whole. Meanwhile, in the Mikoshin multiverse, a great pressure was felt all over the air. That's right, the pressure of the powerful Queen of the Whole, Nin, who would reach the Mikoshin multiverse.
As a surprise, to what do I owe this honor? Mikoshin, we were best friends millions of years ago, and we were both recruited to be queens of everything. So I'll ask you without hesitation, do you think that Saiyan is capable of defeating the God of Death?
Nin, I'm sick of being a puppet of him. He's even abused hundreds of goddesses just for his position as God of Death, and I'm sure Kakarot's power is capable of this and more.
It's okay, Mikoshin. There are 4 All-Kings on my side. Among all of them, we are the 6 All-Kings. Only the 2 most powerful ones remain.
Don't worry about that. They are not the most powerful since I have never shown all my power, since I have never had the need to do it. But this time I'll even defeat them if the situation warrants it.
Don't say stupid things, Mikoshin, because in all the battles they've had, you've never been able to beat him.
But I'm counting on you, Mikoshin. Nin would disappear from the Mikoshin multiverse, while the powerful Queen Mikoshin would stand up and a big smile would be drawn on her face. So they are known as the 2 most powerful gods. And who decided it? They have never fought against me, and to their bad luck, they will not be able to do anything against me. Mikoshin, with an overwhelming speed, would begin to move throughout the multiverse, being able to reach where the second most powerful king, which his name was Archon.
But if you're Mikoshin, what do you want?
Today I want you to join my cause, and if I have to defeat you, I will.
What stupid things are you saying? I don't see myself losing to you. But it's okay, I'll accept your challenge.
At the moment of Archon finishing saying his answer, Mikoshin, with a certain blow on his face, was able to send him to sit on the surface of the planet. But a disaster would be created all over the outside. That's right, the power that Mikoshin had considered was his fist was amazing. You've always taken this battle seriously, since I'm not going to let myself be defeated like I've always done. A little stunned, Archon would stand up so he would instantly begin to expel a surprising power to face the Queen of all, Mikoshin. 70 million years ago, there was an unimaginable void without any life, when suddenly emerged a being which didn't know it was himself where he was.
What's going on? What am I? I can't see anything. What is this immense void?
What he didn't know was, until that moment, was that he was an omnipotent being who was going to create everything known as the universe. He would even create a whole multiverse full of different types of life in order to find at some point an individual who could match or surpass the strength of his son called Zeno-sama. In Zeno-sama's palace, 30 million years after the birth of Zeno-sama's father, he introduces himself to his son.
Zeno-sama, my son, you've grown strong and apparently you've become very powerful over the centuries.
Father, I've always felt that my existence has no purpose. I often get bored. Why did you bring me to life to be bored?
70 million years ago, there was a void from which I was created. As I grew, I developed powers and immeasurable strength. As a result of that, a need was born in me to find a being who could match or surpass your strength, to even equal my own greatness. That's why I created planets, galaxies, universes, and living beings of various species.
All this was created just so that I could exist?
Yes, my son. Every star, every life form, everything has a purpose. To prepare you to be the supreme god of all that I've created. You're the main reason for all my creation.
It's a heavy burden, Father. Why me?
Because in you, I see the true potential to rule in this vast cosmos. You are the hope to maintain harmony among the creations that have sprung from my being. You are the missing piece in this cosmic chest.
Father, all this that you tell me is an enormous responsibility. I don't know if I'm ready to be able to do it. What if I fail?
There is no failure, son. Your very existence is success. Every moment in your life has molded you into the supreme being that you are. I trust you will fulfill your destiny.
What about you, Father? What role do you play in all this?
My role is to guide you from the shadows, to watch you fulfill your purpose. Finding balance in the universe is a task that requires your leadership. I'll be here, in the darkness, watching you carry out the mission I have given you.
I understand, Father. Leave everything in my hands.
Thus passed centuries, millennia, in which Zeno-sama was guided by his father to govern the immense multiverse he had created for him, but now convinced of the purpose he had in his life. In the present time, 30 million years after the conversation that Zeno-sama and his father had, in one of the universes created by Father Zeno, on a planet called Earth, Kakarot and Vegeta were training together with Whis and Beerus after having faced very powerful beings. While they were training, the Earth was illuminated by flashes of energy. As Kakarot and Vegeta embark on intense training, Whis and Beerus watch from a distance, assessing the Saiyans' every move as they prepare to rise in their skills.
Hey, Vegeta! Remember when we first faced Frieza? That guy was incredibly strong.
Yes, Kakarot. That was our first encounter with an enemy of another level. But we cannot forget the Cell Bug, that creature with cells from all of us. He put us in big trouble with his martial arts tournament. Luckily, your son became strong.
Both Saiyans exchanged energy blasts. Each hit and dodge was an echo of their long history of battles.
Ah, yes! The first time you showed the teleportation technique. That was amazing! Thanks to Gohan, we were able to defeat him.
But then came Majin Buu. That battle was unforgettable. We had to merge to have a chance.
Our fusion was great, but we also learned about redemption and kindness at that time. Buu became good because of you.
As they continue their training, the energy of both Saiyans light up the space. Whis and Beerus watch with interest.
Yes, but don't forget about Beerus. That god of destruction who almost wiped out the Earth with a single sneeze. Although in the end, he turned out to be more of a joker than we thought.
Yes, I remember when I tried to fight him in my Super Saiyan 3 form. I wasn't at his level, but at least I gave him a fight in my Super Saiyan God form, and that was possible thanks to all of you.
That's right. And now we're here, training with Whis and Beerus. We cannot let our guard down, Kakarot. There'll always be bigger challenges.
Exactly. Every fight makes us stronger. Let's keep training and bettering ourselves.
Of course. We're always one step closer to being the strongest warriors in the universe.
The training continues as Kakarot and Vegeta, under the tutelage of Whis and Beerus, strive to reach new levels of power in order to defend the Earth from new and more powerful enemies that may appear with the desire to destroy the planet that welcomed them. While Kakarot and Vegeta were training to overcome their limits, Whis and Beerus encouraged them to keep improving.
Very good, Saiyans. Keep it up.
Yes, they're very strong, but I don't know if that'll be enough to keep my interest.
Suddenly, they feel a dark presence and the whole environment begins to become dark, and a dark, powerful presence fills the place.
What's going on, Mr. Whis? Something's not right. I feel an extremely powerful and dark presence.
That feeling sounds familiar. Who could it be?
The darkness intensifies, and suddenly an opposing figure appears in front of them like a shadowy nebula.
Inhabitants of the multiverse, have you missed me? Hello, dear inhabitants of the multiverse. I've come to observe progress of my creations.
What? Who is this guy?
I don't know, Kakarot, but his presence is overwhelming.
No way.
What?
The figure lingers in a shadowy haze, with the speaker being the father of Zeno-sama, the omnipotent being who created the multiverse. This one appears in all multiverse, where all the warriors were training for future problems.
This guy is the father of Zeno-sama, the creator of everything we know of universes beyond our imagination. I didn't think we'd ever see him.
Sir, your arrival is unexpected. Forgive the insolence, but to what do we owe you presents?
The inclination of Whis and all the angels of different universes is because they have knowledge of who was the father of Zeno-sama. For that reason, they have a great fear and respect for him.
I see you've been busy, warriors. You have faced great obstacles throughout your insignificant lives, but this time has come. Are you strong enough?
We're always up for a good challenge.
Shut up, Kakarot. Don't you feel how powerful he is? How can you say that? Haven't you noticed something missing in the multiverse?
At that moment, Zeno-sama's father set out to tell them the reason for the ambiguous question. Moments before Zeno's father appeared before the whole multiverse, he was very angry because when he woke up from the dream of millions of years, he was surprised that many things had happened that went against the main reason why he created the whole universe. Because of this, he appears before his son Zeno-sama. In the center of the realm of everything, the overwhelming presence of Zeno-sama's father eclipses space. His voice booms like thunder as he directs his fury towards his son Zeno-sama. The latter, visibly nervous, tries to defend himself as the tension between the two intensifies.
Zeno-sama, you failed in your duty as Supreme God. All the warriors of the multiverse have overstepped their bounds and now dare to call themselves gods. Gods? This is unacceptable!
Father, I understand that this is all being misunderstood, but...
There's no excuses, Zeno-sama. Your lack of authority has allowed inferior beings to rise above us. How dare you let them usurp the title of gods?
I'm sorry, Father. I did not intend for things to come to this point.
The anger in Father Zeno's voice increases. His tone becomes more defiant and contemptuous.
Your intention? Your weakness has sullied the name of our divinity. The only god here is me, and no one else should dare to call himself that. No one!
Father, I understand that I'm in your debt, but we can find another way to restore order.
Father Zeno's response is an explosion of contempt and fury.
You do not deserve the title of god at all. Your weakness has tainted my creation. Because of your incompetence, I must restore the balance, even if it means getting rid of you.
What? Father, please don't do it! There's so much I can still learn and improve! I can fix all of this!
Zeno-sama's imploration is lost in Father Zeno's cold determination.
It is already too late, Zeno. Weakness must be eradicated from existence for true power to prevail.
In an instant, Zeno-sama's father unleashes a blast of devastating energy that engulfs Zeno-sama and begins to tear him to shreds as he screams in pain.
No, Father, please! Ah!
Order has been restored. No one else will dare to challenge my supremacy. I will now take it upon myself to re-establish balance through my creation.
In the present day, in front of the terrified warriors, due to what Zeno-sama's father had informed them what had happened to his son Zeno-sama, a being they all adored and feared.
You insignificant beings now understand. Because of this, I will destroy all the timelines and universes that exist. I am a divine being, omnipotent, and I can do it. But I will give you a chance to fight for your lives. So I'll organize a tournament in which the strongest warriors of the entire multiverse will participate so the power will prevail.
Earth 2024.
What?
This can't be true.
Do you think we can face something like that, Mr. Piccolo?
Oh? We'll have to train a lot physically and, above all, mentally.
The idea of a tournament piques his interest, seeing the opportunity to test his own power and perhaps become even stronger. Thraxis Nocturne. Planet sunk in the shadows.
A tournament, eh? Well, I'll show that true power is not limited to divine beings.
I won't let them destroy our future. I will fight in that tournament and protect my own.
A tournament with the strongest warriors, huh? It'll be my chance to show that the Saiyans are not insignificant beings. We will see who is truly divine in this tournament. My empire will prevail.
A competition between the strongest.
Interesting. I was showed that the Metacoolers are superior in all universes.
Nigerian, a world with perpetually cloudy skies where storms of dark energy lash the surface.
Father, this tournament will be the perfect occasion to show you that my power surpasses yours. Perfect. I'll show my true power and wreak havoc in every corner of the multiverse. Destruction in a tournament. What a magnificent combination. I will be the ultimate warrior and subdue all under my rule. Let's fight. This tournament will be my stage to demonstrate the power I've obtained.
Dracoria, homeworld of the humanoid dragon warriors and the descendants.
The threat of destruction is overwhelming. My fire may not be enough to face its dark omnipotence.
A shadow that threatens to destroy everything. My ability to manipulate the darkness may not be enough. Even with my swordsmanship, facing an omnipotent divine being will be an unparalleled challenge. This divine being has the power to destroy everything I love. My fire will be my defense.
A divine threat. My control over thunderstorms will be enough. This will be a challenge like never before.
After seeing the various emotions and thoughts of the main participants of the tournament, Zeno-sama's father begins to explain the rules of this supposed tournament.
Minimal beings. The rules are simple. The tournament will be to the death. It'll be held in a timeless space where the laws of time and physics are temporarily suspended. The only way to eliminate an opponent is to make his heart stop. It is by killing him. There's no other way. In this tournament, it is either you or your rival. There's no limits on the use of skills. You must unleash your full potential without restriction, so as not to be destroyed in the process. I'll be the one who will watch over the whole process. The participant who wins will have the joy of facing me, putting his life and the life of his universe at stake. But I'm a PS deity, and I will bring him the opportunity to have a divine power similar to mine for a determined time. If he does not take the advantage of it, he will have to accept the consequences.
In spite of the uncertainty that the warriors have in front of what the father of Zeno-sama has said, some are excited and others are worried.
Wow, this sounds exciting! A tournament with fighters from all universes. It's gonna be great!
Why should we trust this tournament to be fair? By killing them?
So I can fight to the best of my ability. But killing beings that are just fighting for their lives is not nice.
I hope everything I've said has been clear to everyone. The only rule is that you have to kill your opponent so that they don't kill you. I want to make that clear. You will have to kill your opponent. The way we will check if you're worthy of calling yourselves gods.
Father Zeno disappears and everything returns to normal. You can see Kakarot's excited about the new enemy that is seen. It is very powerful. Vegeta, scared and worried about his family, angry with Kakarot.
Wow, that guy's incredibly strong. I'm excited to fight him in the next tournament.
Excited? Do you realize what's at stake, Kakarot? The enemy is dangerous, and we can't just underestimate him.
But Vegeta, that guy has awesome power. It's gonna be the best fight of our lives.
This is not a game, Kakarot. Do you realize that we're putting our families and the entire universe at risk?
I know it's serious, Vegeta, but it's also a chance to get better. Besides, Zeno-sama's father is excited about this.
I can't believe you're so carefree. My family's in danger and you're excited about a fight.
I'm not saying I'm not serious, Vegeta, but when an opportunity presents itself to measure our power, I can't resist.
You always think about the fight, don't you? Sometimes I wish you had a little more responsibility.
Vegeta, I understand that you're worried about Bulma and Trunks, but trust that we can protect them.
I don't like the idea of someone else deciding about our lives.
I understand, Vegeta, but do you really think we can ignore this opportunity?
I'm not going to lose my family over a fight, but I also know that I can't stop you from getting excited about the battle.
At that moment, the tension between Kakarot and Vegeta is palpable as they prepare to face the new enemy. While Kakarot is filled with excitement for the fight, Vegeta faces the situation with a mixture of fear and determination. Thus, the training of the entire multiverse for their survival of their species began. From the moment on, the most powerful warriors of all the universes began to train with greater intensity in order to save their universes and timelines. After having communicated with the entire multiverse from the realm of everything, the father of Zeno-sama would observe everything from a crystal screen, that the warriors were getting stronger and stronger. He sent his shadow warriors to slow down the process of them.
But what is this feeling that stirs my supreme being? A mixture of fascination and disdain. It's inevitable that mortals yearn for more, that they aspire to surpass their boundaries. Yet some of these warriors are reaching levels I cannot allow. Their power threatens the balance I've established. It's enough that they're mere participants in my tournament. They must be contained. They must be eliminated before their ascensions endanger the stability of my creation. My shadow warriors, creatures of the shadow and executioners of my will travel throughout all the universes. They'll be my instruments to stop these reckless advances. I will not allow the power of these warriors to grow beyond the limits set by my divinity.
Father Zeno, we're here to receive your orders.
Shadow creatures, my loyal enforcers, the time has come. The universes pulsate with an energy that threatens to destabilize the order I've established. Mortal warriors, in their relentless pursuit of power, are rising to dangerous heights. Their progress must be halted.
Your orders are our will. How do you wish us to proceed?
Each of you will disperse among the universes. Your mission is to find those warriors who dare to exceed the limits imposed. There's no room for compassion. The threat must be eradicated. Annihilate them without mercy.
We will, Father Zeno. No warrior would be strong enough to defy your will.
The shadow creatures set off to every universe and timeline to destroy every warrior who would participate. Along the way, they encountered weak warriors who they destroyed with these strong and very powerful ones. It was dusk when suddenly the Earth's atmosphere trembled with an unnatural darkness. In the blink of an eye, shadow creatures emerged from the interdimensional shadows, ethereal and menacing beings that would challenge even the strength of the mightiest warriors. Kakarot and Vegeta, training on the vast battlefield of Earth, sensed the arrival of an ominous presence. Shadow creatures, their ethereal forms and eyes burning with the intensity of darkness, materialized before them.
What are you?
We are servants of Father Zeno. Your progress has been noted and must be halted. The will of Father Zeno is the supreme law. The warriors have exceeded the allowable limits and will now be destroyed. The shadow creatures moved with an agility that defied logic, leaving behind them trails of darkness. Kakarot and Vegeta prepared for the confrontation, their energies flashing in response to the threatening presence.
Well, it looks like we have new opponents. This should be interesting.
No matter who sends them, we'll not allow them to stop our progress.
The shadow creatures, speechless, rushed towards Kakarot and Vegeta with flashing speed. The battle ahead would not only be a test of strength, but a struggle between light and darkness, between the determination of the warriors and the will of the father of Zeno-sama. The battle rages and the environment, plants, stones, and sky are witness to the incredible demonstration of power. Kakarot and Vegeta, deploying a great amount of ki, are in the center ready to face the two mysterious shadow warriors that attack them. Shadow Creature 1 moves at breakneck speed, leaving only flashes of darkness in its wake. Its form is ethereal, almost impossible to follow with the eye. It attacks with incredible precision, throwing punches and kicks that defy the perception of time. Shadow Creature 2 stands out for its devastating power. Its every strike sends out waves of dark energy that distort the surrounding space. Its presence emanates an ominous aura that shakes even the particles of space. The fight begins with Kakarot and Vegeta charging forward, but the shadow creatures respond with astonishing agility, dodging every blow and counterattacking with almost invisible movements. Faced with the speed of the Shadow Warriors, Kakarot and Vegeta are forced to raise their power to Super Saiyan level.
Vegeta, these guys are incredibly fast. I can't even keep up with their moves.
Looks like our usual speed isn't enough. We'll have to raise our power to the maximum.
Both Saiyans concentrate, their golden auras bursting as they transform into Super Saiyan. Their golden hair lights up the space as they launch into a fierce offensive. But the Shadow Warriors remain equally agile, gracefully dodging the attacks. The intensity of the power illuminates the space.
Now, Vegeta, let's go all out.
Let's go, Kakarot.
The Saiyans rush towards these Shadow Warriors with a fierce offensive. However, the shadow creatures dodge their attacks with surprising grace, moving through the energy blast with ease.
Is that the best you can do, Saiyans?
Their speed is admirable, but they're still not up to par. Damn it! It can't go on like this, Kakarot. We need something else.
You're right, Vegeta. Let's take this to the next level.
Faced with persistent speed of the Shadow Warriors, Kakarot and Vegeta rise their power even higher, transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. Their blue auras flash with intensity and the pressure of their power shakes the surrounding space. However, the Shadow Warriors are not daunted. The battle reaches its peak as the four warriors are engulfed in a frenzy of energy. Kakarot launches his attack called Kamehameha, and Vegeta launches his final flash attack, but the Shadow Warriors respond with counterattacks that defy the laws of physics. Then the clash of these powerful attacks causes an immense explosion. At the precise moment that both Saiyan warriors, the shadow creatures, collided their attacks, the explosion resulting from the collision of the attacks left a crater on the battlefield, while a dense smoke obscured the view. Amidst the haze, Goku with a serious but confident expression, and Vegeta, also with a confident expression of having destroyed the shadow creatures with his attacks, stood on guard, ready to face whatever emerged from this smoke. Suddenly, as soon as the smoke dissipated from the battlefield, the shadowy creatures emerged unharmed, floating in the air with an even more intense presence. Their forms twisted, revealing an even darker and more powerful transformation. Now with eyes glowing with a more intense light, the shadow creatures uttered a great malevolent laugh and moved towards Goku and Vegeta with renowned ferocity. The sky was covered with dark clouds and lightning intermittently illuminated the scene. The creatures, once scattered, began to converge into a chaotic mass. Their bodies intertwined and merged, creating a monstrous entity that emanated a dark and malevolent aura. The fusion of the creatures was completed with a loud roar, and before Goku and Vegeta emerged, a nightmarish creature. The fused creature had a grotesque figure, with twisted limbs and glowing eyes filled with evil. Its body was enveloped in a halo of dark energy, which distorted the space around it. The ground shook with every step he took, and the waves of evil energy generated chaos on the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta exchanged determined glances. They knew they faced an unprecedented threat. The fusion of the creatures had given rise to a being of incredible power and speed. Goku frowned, clenching his fists, while Vegeta gave a cocky grin.
Kakarot, looks like things have become interesting. I didn't expect to have to face something like this.
Yes, Vegeta. This creature's no joke. We're gonna have to give it our all.
Both warriors raised their ki to the maximum, surrounding themselves with an intense golden and blue aura. Their hair stood on end and the earth trembled under the pressure of their combined power. The fused creature responded with a guttural laugh and advanced towards them with great strides.
Come on, Vegeta, let's attack together and put an end to this!
For once, Kakarot, I agree.
The battle reached its climax as Goku and Vegeta, enveloped in their golden and blue auras, launched themselves towards the fused creature. Every punch and burst of energy echoed through the air, creating a spectacle of flashes and booms. The creature, however, was not easy to defeat. Its agility and strength were astounding, dodging the Saiyan's attacks with ease.
Vegeta, we need to find an opening in its defense! Focus!
I know, Kakarot, but this thing's fast.
The fused creature responded with a ripping attack, sending the Saiyans flying across the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, however, quickly recovered and stood up with renewed determination. We can't underestimate this thing. Come on, Vegeta, let's attack together.
All right, Kakarot, together we'll defeat it.
Goku nodded and they concentrated their energies into an amazing combined attack. A brilliant flash of light and blue light materialized in their hands, growing with each second. The fused creature, seeing the imminent threat, tried to counterattack, but it was too late. Kamehameha!
Final Flash!
The powerful beam of combined energy shot towards the fused creature, illuminating the dark battle with its radiance. However, just when impact seemed inevitable, the creature, in the last act of desperation, deployed a dark shield that managed to resist the Saiyans' assault. The result explosion sent Goku and Vegeta flying backwards, returning them to their base form, leaving them dazed and severely injured on the ground. The fused creature, though weakened, struggled to its feet, its malevolent aura flickering, but far from fading completely. Vegeta, we're in trouble! This thing's stronger than we thought! Vegeta, however, lay motionless on the ground with visible wounds and his aura rapidly diminishing. Vegeta! Don't give up, Vegeta! The fused creature, slowly recovering, calmly approached towards Vegeta with a palpable malevolence in its glowing eyes.
Your efforts are futile. I'm the amalgam of darkness itself. This is the end of you, Saiyan Prince.
Goku, full of rage and despair, stood up and threw himself towards the creature with what was left of his strength. However, the creature, with a simple wave of its hand, unleashed a wave of dark energy that enveloped Kakarot and threw him violently to the ground. Vegeta, we need a plan. The fused creature approached Vegeta, lifting him off the ground with one hand. The Saiyan Prince, barely conscious, opened his eyes to meet the cold, merciless gaze of his energy.
Kakarot, do whatever it takes.
The fused creature, with a contemptuous gesture, threw Vegeta back to the ground, leaving him on the verge of death. The battle, which had begun with hope, now became bleaker than ever. With his partner down and his own strength waning, Kakarot faced a strength that seemed insurmountable. Goku, sensing the desperation of the situation, recalled the hermit seeds he carried with him. The moment the fused creature came speeding towards him, Goku managed to dodge that blow swiftly, approached Vegeta and handed him one of the valuable seeds. Vegeta, eat this! It'll give you the energy to keep fighting! At the same time, Goku also consumed one of the seeds. Vegeta, barely conscious, accepted the seed and consumed it urgently. The hermit seed acted quickly, healing Vegeta's wounds and restoring his life energy. Flashes of golden light surrounded the Saiyan Prince as he stood up, his eyes regaining determination.
Kakarot, don't underestimate me. I can keep fighting.
Fine, Vegeta, but we need something else to defeat this creature. Do you remember the fusion technique? Vegeta frowned but nodded in understanding. Both Saiyans positioned themselves in front of the fused creature, focusing their energies. Vegeta, let's do it! Let's merge!
I don't think it'll come to this, Kakarot, but I have no choice.
Both warriors stood side by side, raising their hands into the front and began to concentrate their energies. The atmosphere was filled with a brilliant glow as the two Saiyans merged into a single entity. The resulting figure was a perfect combination of Goku and Vegeta, with a powerful golden aura enveloping their fused bodies. This fusion creature showed signs of unease as it witnessed the transformation. The new Saiyan entity turned to it with a determined look. The fusion between Goku and Vegeta, known as Gogeta, and his Super Saiyan form was now evident. Gogeta, with the combined voice of Goku and Vegeta, said, "Prepare for defeat. We're the fusion of the Saiyans, and there's nothing we cannot overcome." With a unified shout, the Saiyan fusion lunged towards the fused creature with incredible speed and power. The battle between the Saiyan fusion and the fused creature erupted into a frenzy of power and skill. Every move, every blow, every burst of energy shook the battlefield. The earth trembled under the intensity of the confrontation, and the sky lit up with the sparks of energy released during the fight. Gogeta, with the combination of Goku's cunning and Vegeta's determination, proved to be an unstoppable force. However, the fused creature did not yield easily, showing a resilience that defied expectations. Both contenders were at a stalemate. each pushing their limits to the max. Goku and Vegeta, in their fused form, began to feel the need to unleash more power to overcome their more formidable foe. In a moment of perfect synchronization, both Saiyans raised their ki to the limit, and the atmosphere itself began to be distorted with the built-up pressure.
It's time to take this to the next level!
In a dazzling flash, the Saiyan fusion underwent an astonishing metamorphosis. His once golden hair now turned sapphire blue, and his aura took on a heavenly hue. The transformation to Super Saiyan Blue had taken place. The fused creature recoiled momentarily as it witnessed the new form. Shocked by the magnitude of the power unleashed, however, the Saiyan fusion showed no mercy and lunged towards with dizzying speed.
Prepare for true Saiyan strength!
The attacks and counterattacks reached a speed that defied perception. The fused creature, despite its previous endurance, was outmatched by the speed and aggressiveness of the Saiyan fusion in its Super Saiyan Blue form. The battle had not yet come to an end. In a final attempt to resist, the fused creature unleashed its own dark power, enveloping the Saiyan fusion in a spiral of chaotic energy. Gogeta, in response, concentrated his energy to the maximum in an act of rage.
Let's go farther!
The energy surrounding the Saiyan fusion intensified and exploded in a dazzling burst. The bright blue aura became more intense, and the power of the Saiyan fusion increased to unimaginable levels. The sky lit up with glows and waves of energy as the fused creature faced Gogeta's unstoppable strength. However, in an unexpected twist, the creature began to build up a dark and sinister energy, revealing a hidden power.
Your resistance is impressive, Saiyans, but you have not seen my true potential.
The fused creature transformed, its fusion distorting further. A black aura filled with malevolence surrounded its body as its eyes glowed with terrifying intensity.
What the hell is it doing?
The fused creature, now imbued with a new dark power, lunged at Gogeta with surprising speed. Despite Gogeta's formidable strength in his Super Saiyan Blue form, the fused creature seemed to be able to anticipate even more.
Now you'll experience true darkness.
Gogeta sensed the threat, deciding to take his own power to the extreme. In a blink of an eye, he activated the technique, the Kaioken. His blue aura multiplied into a mixture of blue and red, and the intensity of the battle reached levels never seen before.
It's time to put an end to this! Kaioken!
Gogeta's speed and strength multiplied exponentially, and the fused creature was momentarily caught off guard. However, the creature counterattacked with a blast of dark energy that enveloped Gogeta, but he struggled to resist. Gogeta, in his Kaioken state, felt the need to raise his power even higher. Thus his ki increased, causing the earth to tremble from such immense power, destroying mountains and lifting rocks into the skies. At that precise moment, he disappeared from the sight of the fused creature, appearing from behind and creating a glowing bluish sphere of energy that materialized between his hands.
Final Kamehameha!
The energy sphere impacted against the fused creature with unparalleled force. The resulting explosion lit up the sky, dispersed the creature's dark energy. However, when the light faded, the fused creature emerged once again, albeit visibly weakened.
Do not underestimate my power, Saiyans. I have attained a form beyond your comprehension.
Gogeta, sensing the gravity of the situation, prepared for the next confrontation. The battle, far from over, was entering even more dangerous terrain, with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance in this fierce struggle between light and darkness. The battlefield was plunged into utter chaos, with destructive shockwaves reverberating throughout space. Gogeta, with his combined aura of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken, was moving at speeds that defied perception. The fused creature, despite his new enhanced form, was momentarily outmatched by the Saiyan warrior's speed.
Darkness cannot defeat light. It's time to seal your fate.
Though weakened, the fused creature did not give up. With impressive speed, it lunged towards Gogeta, unleashing a series of dark attacks that even defied the Kaioken's speed.
Your light is but a fleeting glimmer. In the eternity of darkness, you will suffer.
Gogeta, with sharp reflexes at precise moments, will dodge the fused creature's attacks. The battle reached an even greater frenzy, with a clash of fists and kicks creating waves of energy that swept the surrounding landscape. The once dark and stormy sky were illuminated by the flashes on the contest. In the beginning of the moment of opportunity, Gogeta channeled the Kaioken to an even higher level. His aura became more intense, mixing blue with red in a dazzling display. Seeing the new burst of power, the fused creature recoiled momentarily, a moment Gogeta took advantage of to gather energy.
This is the limit of your darkness. Prepare for the end.
Gogeta, with unmatched speed, appeared in front of the fused creature, concentrating his energy to a single point. A glowing sphere of energy formed between his hands, but this time, the sphere was not blue, it was a mixture of colors. A fusion of the power of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken.
Kaioken 20 times! Final Kamehameha!
The now larger, more powerful energy sphere hurled with impressive speed towards the fused creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the entire horizon, causing the mountains and valleys to be enveloped in a dazzling glow. When the light faded, the fused creature lay defeated on the ground. Its dark aura completely dissipated. Gogeta, with his Super Saiyan Blue form and Kaioken still activated, watched cautiously. The intense battle had come to an end, but the price of the confrontation was reflected in the devastated Earth and the wear and tear visible on the Saiyan warrior.
I hope that was enough. This universe can't take any more of this destruction.
With a flash, Gogeta deactivated the Kaioken and returned to his base form. As silence descended over the battlefield, the lingering question was whether the threat had truly been eliminated or if there was still challenges to be faced in the vast cosmos. Goku and Vegeta, feeling that the threat had been neutralized for the moment, separated from the Saiyan fusion. The intensity of the battle had left both Saiyans exhausted, but their attention was diverted to a disturbing reality. In the corner of their vision, they watched as a small dark creature made its way towards where Gohan and Broly were standing. Vegeta, something's happening! We must get there fast!
Those two are in trouble if that thing gets to them. Let's go, Goku!
Both Saiyans, despite their exhaustion, dashed towards Gohan and Broly's location with as much speed as possible. As they approached, they could see the dark creature getting closer and closer to the two warriors. Gohan, who was training with Broly in an attempt to increase his skills, noticed Goku and Vegeta's arrival urgently. Dad! Vegeta! Something's coming! Broly, with his piercing gaze, had also sensed the approaching threat.
Evil creature! We will fight!
The small dark creature, noticing the presence of the Saiyans, stopped advancing and displayed a malevolent laugh.
Ha ha ha! Your victory was short-lived. This is only the first of many surprises.
Before they could react, the dark creature split into multiple smaller shadows, surrounding Gohan and Broly with astonishing speed. Watch out, Broly! They're fast and dangerous!
We will fight! We won't let them defeat us!
Goku and Vegeta, arriving just in time, joined the battle. The battle became a chaotic dance of blows and explosions as the Saiyans fought the dark shadows that multiplied endlessly.
Let's finish this quickly! Gohan, Broly, stay strong!
Got it, Vegeta! Broly, unleashing his titanic power, emitted a wave of energy that temporarily dispersed the dark shadows. However, the dark creature, in a final act of desperation, merged back into a larger, more powerful form.
My shadows cannot be so easily defeated. The real battle has just begun.
The shadow creature, now strengthened and more menacing than ever, faced the four Saiyan warriors with palpable malevolence. Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta moved into battle stance, facing the shadow creature with determination. Come on, guys! Let's work together and put an end to this menace once and for all! Broly growled in agreement, his power emanating from him with an imposing force. Goku and Vegeta, despite their earlier exhaustion, raised their energies ready for the battle ahead. The shadow creature, with a sinister laugh, lunged towards them with surprising speed. The Saiyans responded with a coordinated assault, launching energy blasts and performing combo attacks. However, the shadow creature was agile and dodged their attacks with ease.
We can't let this thing get away. Concentrate on attacking together.
You're right, Vegeta. If we fight them as a team, we can overcome anything. The four Saiyans synchronized their movements, attacking in harmony. Broly unloaded titanic blows. Gohan used his agility and advanced techniques, while Goku and Vegeta coordinated their energies to create a combined assault. Despite their efforts, the shadow creature proved to be resilient and adaptable. It defended with cunning and counterattacked with fury. In a moment of tension, the shadow creature unleashed a dark glow that enveloped its form, transforming to an even more powerful and monstrous version.
It's getting stronger again!
It doesn't matter. I'll destroy it.
The battle intensified as the shadow creature in its enhanced form launched waves of dark energy and unleashed more devastating attacks. The Saiyans, however, did not back down. Despite the gravity of the situation, their determination burned stronger than ever.
There's no limit to our strength when we fight together! Come on, guys, we can't lose!
This thing doesn't know who it's messing with. Get ready for what's coming.
Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta channeled their energies to the maximum, shaking the earth under the intensity of their combined power. In a unified act, the four Saiyans raised their ki to the limit and lunged towards the shadow creature with indomitable resolve. The shadow creature, now in its strengthened form, unleashed a dark energy that enveloped Broly, possessing the mighty Saiyan with a malevolent influence. Broly, his eyes now awash with shadows, stood before the other Saiyans with a menacing presence.
Broly, I won't let you be used as a puppet. We must save him. We won't let this thing manipulate Broly. Come on, guys, let's protect ourselves and save our friend.
This is getting more complicated than I thought. But no matter, we won't let the darkness win.
The battle began with the shadow creature using Broly's immense power against them. The controlled Saiyans' attacks were fierce, with waves of energy and bursts of ki that challenged even the most experienced warriors. The Saiyans dodged and counterattacked, but the shadow creature took advantage of Broly's brute strength to counter his moves.
We must weaken it enough to free Broly! Dad, Vegeta, let's follow the plan and attack in unison!
The three Saiyans coordinated, launching a series of swift and powerful attacks. However, the shadow creature moved with agility, dodging most of the blows and countering with blows of its own. Broly, under the influence of the Dark Possession, was showing superhuman endurance.
It's not enough! Broly, fight against this influence!
We must force him to break free. We're gonna give it our all.
In a moment of desperation, the Saiyans decided to raise their powers to the maximum. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan second stage, Gohan advanced his mystical form, and Vegeta unleashed his own power into Super Saiyan second stage. The three Saiyans surrounded Broly, launching a combination of flurry of powerful attacks.
Broly, resist! Don't let their darkness consume you!
The shadow creature, feeling the combined presence of the three Saiyan warriors, showed signs of weakness. However, in a desperate act, the dark energy intensified its hold on Broly, raising its power even higher and unleashing unbridled fury.
We can't give up! We're going to free Broly, whatever it takes!
The battle reached its climax as the three Saiyan warriors, Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, clashed against the shadow creature possessing Broly. The unleashed energy created a spectacle of flashes, explosions, and shockwaves that shook the battlefield. Goku, with his power as a Super Saiyan, moved with astonishing speed, launched energy blasts and accurate punches at the shadow creature. Gohan, in his mystical form, unleashed a combination of fast attacks and advanced techniques, seeking to weaken the dark possession that controlled Broly. Vegeta, in his Super Saiyan second phase form, displayed titanic power, coordinating his attacks with calculated precision.
Broly, listen to my voice! Don't be consumed by this darkness!
The shadow creature, however, resisted tenaciously, harnessing Broly's brute strength and ferocity to counter the Saiyans' attacks. Broly, under the Dark Possession, responded with unstoppable strength, his attacks more intense and uncontrolled.
We need to weaken that possession! Come on, guys, keep up the pressure!
This dark power won't last forever. We must resist!
The battle grew more frantic. With each passing moment, the shadow creature, sensing the threat of the Saiyans, intensified its hold on Broly, fusing its dark energy with the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan.
We can't back down now! Broly's our friend, and we won't let this darkness control him!
In a moment of perfect synchronization, the three Saiyans focused their energies into a coordinated attack. Goku launched a Kamehameha, Gohan unleashed a Masenko, and Vegeta fired a final flash, all aimed at the shadow creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the battlefield, creating an energy storm. However, when the light faded, the shadow creature Broly still stood, visibly weakened but far from defeated.
It's not enough! We must find a way to free Broly from this possession!
At that moment, the shadow creature, taking advantage of the Saiyans' momentary weakness, launched a surprise attack, sending Goku and Gohan to the ground. Vegeta, with his rage in his eyes, stood up determined.
Enough's enough! We won't let this thing continue to manipulate Broly.
Vegeta concentrated his ki to the maximum, unleashing a new transformation. His intense blue aura transformed into an even brighter and more powerful hue.
Super Saiyan Blue!
The atmosphere itself seemed to tremble at the magnitude of the transformation. Vegeta, now in his evolved form, launched himself towards the shadow creature with renewed speed and power. Vegeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue evolved caused a dramatic change in the intensity of the battle. His bright blue aura flashed with overwhelming energy as he charged towards the shadowy creature and Broly, who was still under his influence.
It's time to put an end to this. Broly, I'll fight to free you from this darkness.
The shadow creature, sensing the threat posed by Super Saiyan Blue, adopted a defensive stance. On the other hand, Broly, his eyes still darkened, prepared to face Vegeta. Vegeta unleashed a flurry of quick and precise attacks, combining punches and kicks with astonishing speed. Each move was charged with the strength of the new form, and the shadow creature was forced to retreat in the face of Vegeta's fury.
Broly, regain control. I'll not allow this darkness to consume you.
Broly, under the influence of the Dark Possession, responded with impressive stamina. His attacks were brutal and uncontrolled, but Vegeta moved with a dexterity that defied expectations.
I need to find an opening in this possession.
In an act of bravery, Vegeta launched himself directly towards Broly. Their fists collided forcefully, and Vegeta, using all his skill, made precise strikes that temporarily weakened the dark influence.
Broly, fight this! You're stronger than this darkness!
The shadowy creature, seeing Vegeta's resistance, increased his energy and fused even more with Broly. Now the dark influence was more entrenched than ever, and Broly unleashed an explosion of wild power.
You can't stop me, Saiyan Prince!
Vegeta, not backing down, continued to engage Broly. The battle reached new heights as both warriors unleashed their most powerful attacks. Vegeta launched a Big Bang attack while Broly responded with a gigantic charge of dark energy. The collision of energies generated a huge explosion that blanketed the area. After the dust settled, Vegeta lay on the ground, clearly exhausted but not giving up.
I can't lose. My determination's stronger than your darkness.
The battle between Vegeta and Broly, who was possessed by the shadow creature, reached a critical point. The overflowing energy of the confrontation was spreading across the battlefield, distorting the air and creating palpable tension. At that crucial moment, Goku found himself regaining consciousness, stood up, and immediately went to Saiyan Prince's side.
Vegeta, let's go! Let's give it all we've got!
Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan Phase 2 and joined the fray. The shadow creature, seeing the arrival of another Saiyan warrior, prepared to face the new threat.
Kakarot, you're just in time. This thing has gotten stronger with Broly.
We'll face it together! Broly, we won't let this darkness control you!
The three Saiyans stood in formation, ready to deal with the shadow creature fused with Broly. The intensity of the conflict increased even more with flashes of energy and clashes of fists echoing throughout the battlefield.
Come on, Kakarot, let's attack in unison and free Broly.
I got it, Vegeta! Together, we'll free him!
The Saiyans coordinated their attacks, launching a combined blast towards the shadow creature. Despite their efforts, Broly's dark possession was still resisting, fueled by the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan. Broly, under the influence of the shadow creature, unleashed an uncontrolled fury. His attacks were unpredictable and devastating, putting the Saiyans on the defensive. Goku, Vegeta, and the shadow creature continued to exchange energy blasts and powerful blows.
Vegeta, we must break that possession! We can't let Broly fall into darkness!
Roger that, Kakarot. Let's keep attacking together.
Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, the fiery aura of the Saiyans lit up the sky, a visual manifestation of their mammoth power. Goku and Vegeta, feeling the weight of the battle, decided to take it a step further. They joined their energies in a symphony of power, a final bid to tear apart the shadows enveloping the evil presence. The shadow creature on the brink of the abyss responded with desperation. It raised its own power and the darkness churned with intensity as it struggled to resist the combined onslaught of the Saiyans. The clash of energies created a cataclysm of flashes and booms, shaking the battlefield to its core. At that critical moment, the energy explosion was unleashed with dazzling magnificence. The earth shook, and the shockwaves swept across the landscape, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, enveloped in the blanket of the explosion, were momentarily eclipsed by the blinding light and dancing shadow. When the shimmering luminosity faded, the Saiyans found themselves faced with a new scenario. On the ground lay Broly, his figure shrouded in a residual haze of the contest. The dark aura that had consumed him had finally dissipated. Stillness reigned on the battlefield. As the warriors approached with worried looks, the formidable warrior who now resisted, his power darkened, finally silenced.
We did it, Vegeta! Broly's free!
Yes, but this shadow creature's still a problem. We can't let our guard down.
Vegeta nodded grimly as they watched Broly, who lay on the ground, slowly recovering from the intense battle. However, at that moment of apparent calm, the shadow creature, cunning and unnoticed, had left Broly's possession to seek a new host. The dark entity swiftly swept into the shadows, unnoticed by the Saiyans, who still assessing their companion's condition. Silently, the shadow creature crept towards Gohan, who had been watching the battle from a distance. Gohan, oblivious to the threat looming over him, felt a shiver run down his spine just as the shadow creature enveloped him with its dark presence. A momentary flash of its eyes indicated that something was terribly wrong. At that instant, Gohan, with a sudden alteration in his expression, went on guard without warning. His gaze, now posed by the shadow creature, glowed with a malevolence that contrasted with his gentle nature. Goku, noticing the sudden tension, turned towards Gohan, but before he could react, Gohan, under the influence of the shadow creature, moved with supernatural speed. The confrontation with Broly had left the Saiyans exhausted, and the shadow creature, seizing the opportunity, vanished into the darkness along with Gohan. Vegeta, realizing the situation, gritted his teeth in fury. The threat persisted, and now Gohan, a valuable ally, was in the hands of the shadows. Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for a new confrontation, aware that the battle had not yet come to an end. The tension in the air was palpable, as Goku and Vegeta, still worried about Broly, with determination, turned towards the place where the dark entity had vanished.
Damn it, where'd that thing go?
I don't know, Vegeta, but we must find it before it hurts Gohan!
The two Saiyans, quick as the wind, rushed towards where Gohan had been standing, their senses alert. The shadow creature, now inside Gohan, emerged from the shadows with a sinister laugh.
Looks like they're not as cunning as they thought. Now I have a new toy for my plans. Get out of Gohan, you damn creature!
I'll not allow you to possess my son!
Ha! You think you could stop me? My power possesses even more of your combined forces. Do not underestimate the Saiyans. We have overcome greater challenges than you.
Leave Gohan and face your fate, creature. You'll not be victorious.
The shadow creature, now in control of Gohan, smiled malevolently before responding.
We'll see how long you can resist. Gohan is now an instrument of my will.
The shadow creature possessing Gohan unleashed a burst of dark energy that distorted the surrounding space. Goku and Vegeta suddenly found themselves during a chaotic confrontation, with Gohan now transformed into an instrument of the malevolent entity. The waves of energy radiating from Gohan's possessed figure created an ominous aura that filled the battlefield, defying the Saiyans' endurance and determination. The Saiyans, in their Super Saiyan Blue form, prepared for the impending clash. The shadow creature, using Gohan's body, moved with supernatural agility, dodging the Saiyans' first attacks with grace and malice. Gohan, his eyes now filled with darkness, lunged at Goku with astonishing speed. Goku blocked Gohan's first few blows with difficulty, feeling the enhanced strength and speed of his new controlled son. The fight was intense, each move charged with power and ferocity. Meanwhile, Vegeta positioned himself strategically, assessing the situation, looking for an opening to attack. The shadow creature, through Gohan, unleashed a flurry of attack, which devastating blows that kept Goku on the defensive. However, Goku's ability to adapt quickly to the battle allowed him to counter the attacks and counterattack with his own overwhelming power. Vegeta, sensing an opportunity, lunged at the shadow creature from an unexpected angle. However, the dark entity had sharp reflexes and deflected Vegeta's attack with ease, throwing Gohan against Goku as a distraction. The shadow creature's strategy paid off, as it took advantage of the distraction to hit Vegeta with a beam of dark energy. Vegeta, although he resisted the impact, was momentarily weakened. The entity, now with a malevolent smile, turned to him.
Damn it! This isn't over, shadow creature.
Goku, reacting quickly, stepped between the shadow creature and Vegeta.
Vegeta, hold on! We can't let this thing divide us.
The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos at its zone, released a dark aura that enveloped both Saiyans. The dark energy sought to confuse and weaken their senses, however the Saiyans' instinctive connection to Ki enabled them to resist the dark influence. The battle raged in a frenzy of clashing colors and energies. Gohan, controlled by the shadow creature, moved with a mixture of speed and agility that defied the laws of physics. Goku and Vegeta, each focusing on their own battlefront, were trying to coordinate their attacks to free Gohan from the dark possession.
Gohan, fight this darkness! You're stronger than this!
Gohan, though showing flashes of resistance, was caught in an internal struggle between his will and the shadow creature's control. The battle grew more challenging. With each passing second, the shadow creature reveled in its ability to manipulate and corrupt one of Earth's mightiest warriors. Vegeta, recovering from the earlier onslaught, threw himself back into the fray. The shadow creature, however, anticipated his attack and gracefully dodged Vegeta's attempts to strike it. The dark entity counterattacked with a series of precise blows that forced Vegeta to retreat.
You damn Shadow, don't underestimate the Prince of the Saiyans.
Goku, seeing his partner's difficulty, raised his power to the maximum. Dazzling energy emanated from his Super Saiyan Blue form as he prepared for a concentrated attack. The shadow creature, noticing the glowing threat, diverted its attention to Goku.
Vegeta, keep up the pressure! I'm gonna concentrate my energy to free Gohan!
Vegeta nodded and increased his offensive, distracting the shadow creature as Goku concentrated his power. The fight reached a new level of intensity, with each move echoing across the vast battlefield. The energy collided, creating shockwaves that distorted reality itself. Goku, eyes glowing with determination, unleashed his most powerful attack. A sphere of glowing blue energy formed in his outstretched hands. Charged with the combined strength of the Saiyans, the spear grew in size and the power as Goku had held it in place.
It's time to free Gohan!
The shadow creature, realizing the threat, moved quickly to stop Goku's attack. Vegeta, taking advantage of the distraction, lunged with renewed fury, looking for an opening to attack. The battle reached its climax when Goku released the energy sphere, ascending it directly towards the shadow creature. The energy sphere burst into a dazzling flash, illuminating the battlefield with intense light. Shockwaves swept through the darkness as Goku's purifying energy sought to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession. However, as the light faded and the earth stopped shaking, the shadow creature emerged seemingly unharmed. The dark entity, now irritated, turned to the Saiyans with a twisted laugh.
Is that all you can do? My power is unbreakable.
Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for the next assault. The battle, far from ending, dragged on into confrontation of epic proportions. Darkness and light collided in an endless clash, with the will of the Saiyans resisting against the entity that threatened to plunge them into the shadows. The dark creature, after resisting Goku's powerful attack, showed a malicious smile. A dark glow enveloped Gohan, and his body began to tremble with intensity. A guttural scream echoed through the air as the dark entity forced a unique transformation on the Saiyan warrior. Gohan, under the shadow creature's influence, contorted and his body was enveloped in a dark, feral energy. The earth trembled with the intensity of the transformation, and Gohan's figure began to change. Defined musculature, red eyes, a wild gaze, long gray hair, and emerging in the new form, Gohan Dark Beast. Vegeta and Goku, shocked by the unexpected evolution, instinctively recoiled from the overwhelming presence of Dark Gohan Beast. The shadow creature had accomplished what it could not do with Broly, unleash a unique and uncontrolled transformation on Gohan. Dark Beast Gohan, now freed from any hint of rationality, roared skyward, emitting an overwhelming energy that shook the battlefield. His eyes glowed with an animalistic intensity, and his posture indicated that human control was suppressed.
This can't be happening. What did that thing do?
The shadow creature managed to unlock something inside Gohan. This won't be easy.
The shadow creature, pleased with the success of its manipulation, watched the scene with satisfaction.
Now, witness my true power, the Saiyan Beast Warrior. How do you plan to stop him?
Dark Beast Gohan let out a deafening roar and lunged towards Vegeta with impressive speed. Dark Beast Gohan's attacks were ferociously savage, his brute strength and speed surpassing even Broly's most rampaging transformation. Vegeta, using his speed and agility, dodged Dark Beast Gohan's first attacks. However, the Saiyan Beast warrior's ferocity was unpredictable, and Vegeta was forced to deploy all his skill to stay out of range of the devastating attacks. Goku, assessing the situation, transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and rushed to Vegeta's aid. The two Saiyans fought in tactical coordination, looking to open an opportunity to counter Gohan's savage new form. The battle became a whirlwind of energy, with explosions and crashes echoing across the battlefield. The shadow creature in the shadows continued to manipulate and fuel Dark Beast Gohan's fury. The Saiyan strategy was becoming more and more challenging as Dark Beast Gohan seemed to be one step ahead, anticipating their moves.
Damn it! Gohan Beast is too unpredictable.
We must find a way to free Gohan from this transformation. We can't let the shadow control his true power.
As the Saiyans faced Gohan Beast's fury, the shadow creature watched from the shadows, enjoying the chaos he had unleashed. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment, and the Saiyans' endurance was being tested in the face of Beast Gohan's uncontrollable fury. The battle raged on in a titanic struggle between light and darkness, with the hope of freeing Gohan from the influence of the shadow creature hanging in delicate balance. The Saiyans, determined to overcome this challenge, faced an enemy that had managed to unleash an even greater internal threat than before. While the intense battle raged on the battlefield, Piccolo, the Namekian sage, was immersed in his mental training somewhere secluded. His concentration was so deep that he could feel an abrupt shifting ki, a disturbance that reverberated through space and time. A shiver ran down his back, indicating the gravity of the situation.
Something's not right.
The Namekian instantly stood up, his cloak billowing as he focused on the direction of the glowing chaos. The power he felt was not just brute force. It was an amalgam of dark energies that seemed to defy the very essence of reality. Wasting no time, Piccolo prepared to approach this side of the conflict. Back on the battlefield, Goku and Vegeta fought valiantly against Dark Beast Gohan, who moved with uncontrollable ferocity under the influence of the shadow creature. The dark entity, sensing Piccolo's arrival, smirked.
Looks like we have a new guest. This just gets more interesting.
Goku and Vegeta focused on Gohan Beast, noticing Piccolo's presence as he appeared on the battlefield with a serenity that contrasted with the surrounding chaos.
What happened here? What have you done with Gohan? That shadow thing possessed Gohan and transformed it into a wild beast.
We can't free Gohan this way. The shadow creature manipulates his power in unimaginable ways.
Dark Beast Gohan, noticing Piccolo's arrival, turned to him with wild eyes. The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos, prepared for the next act of this heartbreaking play.
Welcome, Piccolo. You're just in time to witness the inevitable downfall of these Saiyans. Don't underestimate the Saiyans or my determination. I'm here to free Gohan.
The Namekian braced himself for the confrontation, deploying his ki with an intensity that made it clear he would not be a mere spectator in this battle. Dark Beast Gohan, fueled by the shadowy influence, roared and lunged towards Piccolo with a speed that defied all logic. The battle became even more chaotic with Piccolo's entrance. His movements were precise and calculated, contrasting with the wild ferocity of Dark Beast Gohan. Goku and Vegeta, aware of Piccolo's strategic skill, adjusted their approach to coordinate their attacks with the Namekian. Meanwhile, the shadow creature watched the battle with a Machiavellian smile, enjoying the confrontation between the forces of light and shadow. The dark entity was determined to prove that its influence was insurmountable. The fight unfolded in a whirlwind of colliding energies, with Piccolo demonstrating his tactical and strategic prowess. Dark Beast Gohan, however, remained a formidable challenge, his erratic movements and uncontrolled strength testing the tenacity of the warriors on the battlefield.
Goku, Vegeta, we need to plan to break the connection between Gohan and that shadow creature.
You're right, Piccolo. We need to attack from different fronts and destabilize that connection.
I'll take care of keeping Beast Gohan busy. Kakarot, you use the connection you have with your son to try to isolate the shadow creature.
Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their efforts with Piccolo's strategic expertise, went on the assault. Piccolo used his wisdom to be able to devise a way to get Dark Beast Gohan out of said possession, while Vegeta unleashed his fury with calculated attacks to keep the beast at bay. As the battle continued, the shadow creature began to feel the pressure of the combined strategy of the Saiyans and Piccolo. The connection between Gohan and the dark entity was under threat, and the shadow creature, despite its confidence, was beginning to show signs of concern. The battle was far from over, but the warriors' resilience was growing stronger in the face of the adversity that loomed over them. As Piccolo continued his mental struggle to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession, his Namekian senses sharpened. Keen perception led him to identify a small shadow leech clinging to Dark Beast Gohan's lower neck, a detail that had not been evident in Broly's previous possession due to his long hair covering that region.
That's it. The key in this little shadow leech on his neck. We must eliminate it to free Gohan.
Piccolo's revelation attracted the attention of Vegeta and Goku on the physical battlefield. Vegeta, upon hearing this, turned his gaze to the back of Gohan Beast's dark neck and noticed the presence of the Shadow Leech.
A Shadow Leech? That explains why we couldn't free Broly this way.
How do we eliminate it without harming Gohan?
As Piccolo struggled to maintain his mental connection, he analyzed this situation and came up with a strategy.
If we attack the Shadow Leech directly, we might harm Gohan in the process. We need a precise way to eliminate it without endangering his life. So what's the plan, Piccolo? Goku, you've mastered Ultra Instinct, but you can only maintain it for a few seconds. We need to take advantage of those brief moments to distract Dark Beast Gohan and allow you to get close enough to destroy the Shadow Leech.
Understood, Piccolo. I'll do my best.
But how do we make sure Beast Gohan doesn't attack while Kakarot's approaching? That's the tricky part. We need to keep Gohan busy and distracted. Vegeta, your attacks must be precise and constant, keeping his attention on you.
I will, but Kakarot, don't make me regret this.
The battle resumed with renowned intensity. Vegeta went on the offensive, attacking Gohan Dark Beast with a series of swift and powerful blows. Gohan responded with ferocity, but Vegeta maintained agile, dodging his attacks while keeping the savage Saiyan warrior's attention. At that moment, Goku concentrated, channeling Ultra Instinct. An aura of flickering energy surrounded him as he activated the powerful transformation. His speed increased exponentially, allowing him to easily dodge Dark Beast Gohan's attacks.
Now, Goku, now's your chance.
Goku in his Ultra Instinct state moved with superhuman speed towards Gohan's rear. The shadow creature, still focused on the fierce confrontation with Vegeta, did not notice Goku's approach.
This is my chance to end this!
With pinpoint accuracy, Goku reached out his hand and touched the small shadow leech on Gohan's neck. The leech, upon being touched by the Ultra Instinct energy, began to fade, emitting a dark screech before dissolving completely. Dark Beast Gohan, losing connection with the Shadow Leech, shook violently, as if releasing himself from a trance. Vegeta, noticing the change, cautiously stepped back as Goku returned to his normal state.
What happened?
Kakarot seems to have found a way to free you from that thing.
It was risky, but it worked.
Well done, Goku, but don't let your guard down. This shadow creature might have more tricks up its sleeve.
The immediate threat had been neutralized. The shadow creature, watching from the shadows, moving away unnoticed by the Saiyan warriors, was not about to give up. So the shadow creature set out to return to its master.
Well, guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now, don't forget to leave your powerful like, Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.